Welcome to Dark Side of History channel, where the untold stories of the past come to life. So don't forget to subscribe and uncover the mysteries with us.
London Great Smog Environmental Disaster. Dense toxic fog covered London in 1952, causing accidents, paralyzing the city, and killing thousands of people in one of history's worst air pollution disasters. This environmental catastrophe finally ended domestic coal use in the city as people realized how deadly air pollution could become. The Great Smog showed how industrial pollution could create life-threatening conditions and led to the world's first major clean air legislation. Nazi March, American influence? Nearly 1,000 men wearing Nazi armbands marched through New Jersey on July 18, 1937, revealing Hitler's disturbing influence in America before World War II. This shocking demonstration showed how Nazi ideology had spread to the United States and attracted American supporters who admired fascism. The Nazi March represented how dangerous political movements could gain followers even in democratic countries through propaganda and organization. Warsaw photographer, hidden ruins? A photographer in November 1946 created a hand-painted backdrop to hide the war debris and ruins that still covered Warsaw after World War II. This artistic deception allowed people to take normal-looking photographs despite living in a city destroyed by years of warfare and occupation. The hidden ruins represented how people tried to maintain dignity and hope while rebuilding their lives after devastating conflict. Anton Dostler war crimes execution? American troops prepared Nazi General Anton Dostler for execution in 1945 after he ordered the killing of 15 OSS agents during World War II. This military execution represented Allied determination to hold Nazi war criminals accountable for their crimes against prisoners and civilians. The general's execution showed how justice was served against those who violated international laws of warfare. Ovitz family Auschwitz survival? The Jewish Ovitz family, including 7 members with dwarfism, survived the horrors of Auschwitz concentration camp through their strength and unity as artists and musicians. This remarkable family's survival showed how some people endured even the worst Nazi persecution through determination and mutual support. The Ovitz family represented hope and human resilience in the face of systematic genocide and murder. Easter eggs for Hitler bombing? African-American soldiers posed with bombs nicknamed Easter eggs for Hitler in Easter 1945, showing their determination to defeat Nazi Germany. These brave airmen used humor and determination while fighting against fascism and racial oppression both overseas and at home. The Easter bombs represented how American diversity strengthened the war effort against tyranny and hatred. Sophie Scholl, student resistance? 21-year-old Sophie Scholl defied the Nazi regime by distributing anti-war pamphlets and was executed for treason, becoming a symbol of youth resistance. This brave student chose to risk her life rather than accept Nazi tyranny and oppression of her fellow Germans. Sophie's sacrifice represented how individual courage could challenge evil governments even when facing certain death. Nazi book burning, Hamburg? Books were burned in Hamburg in 1933 as the Nazi regime attempted to erase ideas and control information on Kaiser Friedrich Ufer. This cultural destruction targeted books by Jewish authors, political opponents, and anyone whose ideas threatened Nazi ideology. The book burning represented how totalitarian governments attack education and free thought to maintain their power over people. Luftwaffe boy captured? A crying 15-year-old boy was captured by American forces in Germany in 1945 after serving in the Luftwaffe, representing the Nazi regime's desperate use of children. This tragic scene showed how the German military had become so desperate that they were using children as soldiers in the final months of war. The captured boy represented how war and totalitarian governments destroyed childhood innocence and forced children into violence. Bergen-Belsen liberation horror? British soldiers found thousands of bodies and survivors near death when they liberated Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in April 1945. This horrific discovery revealed the full extent of Nazi genocide and shocked the world with evidence of systematic murder. The camp liberation represented both the ultimate evil of the Holocaust and the moment when Allied forces finally stopped the killing. Ruby Bridges' school integration. 6-year-old Ruby Bridges faced insults and threats while attending an all-white school alone in 1960, escorted by federal agents during school integration. This brave child endured hatred and violence to exercise her right to equal education guaranteed by the Constitution. Ruby's courage represented how individual bravery could challenge racial segregation and advance civil rights for all children. George Stinney execution injustice. George Stinney became the youngest American executed when he was killed at age 14 in 1944, raising serious questions about justice and racial prejudice. This tragic case showed how the legal system could fail children and minorities through prejudice and inadequate legal representation. Stinney's execution represented the worst aspects of American justice before civil rights reforms protected children and minorities. Rosa Parks' bus boycott beginning. Rosa Parks refused to give up her bus seat in 1955, sparking the Montgomery bus boycott led by Martin Luther King Jr. and beginning the modern civil rights movement. This simple act of defiance challenged racial segregation laws and inspired millions of Americans to demand equal treatment under the law. Parks's courage represented how individual actions could spark massive social movements that changed history. Ella Fitzgerald, Marilyn Monroe, barrier breaking. Ella Fitzgerald sang at the Tiffany Club in 1954 with Marilyn Monroe's help, breaking racial barriers in entertainment and nightclub performances. This collaboration between two talented women showed how personal friendships could overcome racial prejudice in the entertainment industry. Their partnership represented how artists could work together to challenge segregation and promote equality. Normandy D-Day landing courage. American soldiers advanced through icy waters on June 6, 1944 in the famous Into the Jaws of Death photograph during the D-Day invasion. These brave men faced almost certain death while storming heavily defended beaches to begin the liberation of Nazi-occupied Europe. The D-Day landing represented the incredible courage required to defeat fascism and restore freedom to Europe. British soldiers' football gas masks. British soldiers played football while wearing gas masks in France in 1916, showing how troops maintain morale despite chemical weapon threats. This unusual scene demonstrated how soldiers found ways to stay human and have fun even during the deadly serious business of warfare. The gas mask football represented how people adapted to terrible conditions while maintaining their spirits and humanity. Queen Elizabeth wartime mechanic training. Future Queen Elizabeth II drove ambulances and maintained engines in 1945, becoming the only British monarch ever trained as a mechanic. This hands-on service showed how even royalty contributed to the war effort through practical work and personal sacrifice. The Queen's mechanical training represented how World War II required everyone to contribute their skills regardless of social status. Social Security number tattoo desperation. Unemployed Thomas Cave tattooed his Social Security number on his arm in 1939 before traveling to Oregon to pick beans during the Great Depression. This permanent marking showed the desperation of workers who needed to prove their eligibility for government programs and employment. The tattoo represented how economic hardship forced people to take extreme measures to find work and survive. Stock market crash car sale. A man tried to sell his car for $100 after losing everything on Black Tuesday, October 29, 1929, during the stock market crash. This desperate sale showed how quickly wealth could disappear and force people to sell their possessions for survival. The car sale represented the human cost of economic collapse and how financial disasters affected ordinary families. Rural Tennessee Depression family. A mother and 3 children faced the harsh reality of Great Depression poverty near the Tennessee River in 1936. This struggling family represented millions of Americans who endured economic hardship through determination and mutual support during the nation's worst financial crisis. The rural family showed how people maintained dignity and hope even when facing severe poverty and uncertainty. Venus Planet Sharpest Image? Scientists created the sharpest image ever made of Venus, showing the planet shrouded in sulfuric acid clouds with surface temperatures of 900 degrees Fahrenheit. This scientific achievement revealed details about Earth's neighboring planet that had never been seen before through advanced imaging technology. The Venus image represented how space exploration continues to expand human knowledge about our solar system. Analog selfie stick innovation? A man created his own solution for taking self-portraits in 1957 by using a wooden piece to trigger his camera decades before smartphones existed. This creative invention showed how people found practical solutions to photography challenges using available materials and